Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, December the 4th. I'm Clay Emo at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm a founding member of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. And if you're wondering, no, I did not get punched in the face on my right lip. I think I bit it or got a canker sore, maybe a combination of both, so it's looking a little puffy. But hey, still a member of the GLCPC, well, at least in my eyes. So much to get to. It's game day. The Vancouver Canucks host the Minnesota Wild at Rogers Arena. Let's get right to the lineup. And the first major impact on the lineup is the Canucks will have a new player, a brand new roster player named Josh Leivo. As we know, yesterday he was traded from Toronto, the Toronto Maple Leafs, to Vancouver in exchange for AHL forward Michael Carcone. Now, Michael Carcone, 22 years old, some potential, but wasn't able to crack the Canucks lineup, was never really on their radar, at least to my understanding. So really not a big loss from the Canucks standpoint. However, in receiving the forward, Josh Leivo, everything we've heard is good. It's just simply he could not crack the Toronto Maple Leafs lineup. We know it's very stacked with all their players, and especially with William Nylander signing, coming back to the team, the Toronto Maple Leafs had to make a roster decision, a roster spot for Nylander, and hence Josh Leivo was the odd man out, so to speak. He was with the Toronto organization for 5 or 6 years, and this is what we hear from vloggers and from analysts and from people from the team and people that have played against him, both with him and against him. He's a big body. He's got a hard shot. He's got a good, hockey IQ. Processes the game really well. Maybe not the best skater ever, but I think that's mitigated by his shot and by his size. So Jim Benning was lauding those two things: his offensive ability, i.e. his shot, and the size that he has. And he could be a nice fit in our top 6, if not the top 9 for sure. So Bo Horvat has talked at length about how he used to play against him in the OHL, and he had some tough battles against him, and he's looking forward to playing with him. So I'm excited to see Josh Leivo tonight, wearing number 17, made famous by guys like Ryan Kessler and Radim Verbata. So we'll see what happens tonight as he comes into the lineup. So speaking of the lineup, another forward making his return, but he's only played 5 games for the Canucks, is center Jay Beagle. And he got hurt, broke his forearm just 5 games in the season. The 5 games I saw him play, I was actually very impressed by Beagle. The way he steadied the bottom line, the 4th line, the way he was killing penalties, the way he was protecting leads at the end of the game. Obviously, he's going to take some pressure off of Bo Horvat, both in terms of minutes and in terms of defensive zone faceoffs. So I think that is an excellent sign for the Canucks as well. So in essence, we're getting 2 forwards back, 2 new players back, so to speak, and then Sven Berchi and Brandon Sutter still on their way. Berchi skating at practice day, which is good, although he's wearing a gray no-contact jersey, but I think that's obviously a positive sign. So, with Leivo coming in, with Beagle coming in, that means 2 guys got to come out. And I'm not even including Brendan Leipzig because he, we lost him to waivers to the Kings yesterday. So, we know that Nikolai Goudobin will be one of the healthy scratches tonight. Let's not go crazy. Yes, he's the Canucks' 3rd leading scorer right now, but let's not get too crazy. Travis Green sounded like it was a very temporary thing, either 1 or 2 games. And yeah, we've seen in the past that Travis Green does not worry about sitting a young guy 1 or 2 games if it means sending him a message, or at least giving him some time to work on things or to think about things. So Goudobin's out. That means one other guy is going to come out. It looks like it could be Sam Gagner. And actually, when you add up all the numbers, there are 14 forwards on the roster now. They have 8 defensemen and 2 goalies, so that's a total of 24. They actually got to move 1 guy. You can only have 2 extra forwards and 1 extra D, or 2 extra D and 1 extra forward. So regardless, the Canucks not only will have to sit 2 forwards tonight, but they're going to have to make a roster move. And if you think it's going to be a forward, that could be Sam Gagner, not only scratched tonight, but actually sent it back down to the Marlies. Doesn't require waivers. He's likely likely the option is they're going to go with, because you go with the big 3. I'm trying to predict the 12 forwards today because they didn't do line rushes, or we don't know the lines because we don't even know who the scratches are. It was an optional practice, but a very heavily attended optional skate this morning. So we know that the 12 forwards tonight are the big 3 of Horvat, Besser, and Pettersson. Remember, I'm just naming names and I'm not naming lines. So Horvat, Besser, Pettersson, and then you have Eriksson, Granlund, and Virtanen. You have our 3 new guys, Beagle, Schaller, Roussel, and then Mott is in there, Gaudette is in there, and Leivo's in there. So there's our 12. Goudobin's are 13, and likely Sam Gagner, 14, or leaving the team, being sent down again. Then on D, We know that Derek Pouliot's a healthy scratch for sure, but if Eric Goodbranson's ready, that means another guy's got to come out. Now, rumors were it was going to be Troy Stecher again, who was going to be the healthy scratch before Goodbranson got hurt, for a second game in the row last week. But at the end of the practice, if you read anything in this, it was Pouliot and Biega that were the last defensemen out. So that would, you could infer that maybe Biega is going to be a healthy scratch because it was Pouliot, scratch. We know that. Green said so. Goodobin was skating late, scratch. We know that because Green said so. And then Biega was the third guy out there with Pouliot and Goodobin. So maybe it is both Pouliot and Biega out. So that means our top six would be Edler, Tanev, Hutton, Goodbranson, Delzato, and Stecher, which I still think is our strongest six. I still like Delzato and what he brings. I know he's a left. I think he brings more than Biega. Of course, we're talking about left versus right. So your left side is now Edler, Hutton, Delzato. Your right side would be Tanev, Stecher, and Goodbranson. I still think that's our strongest six. I think Pouliot's our weakest one in Biega. We've seen because he can't stay in the lineup. We've seen he can come in for spurts, but he doesn't have to be our full-time defenseman. So that's what I see. That's what I see is I see Goodobin and Gagne as the extra forwards out. Biega and Pouliot as the extra D out, so that's 4. And then one of those guys has to leave the roster today to get us down to 23 men. And my guess is going to be Sam Gagne, but we will find out probably in a couple hours. Anders Nilsson starts in net, making a second straight start. Played very well in that 2-1 Dallas loss on Saturday, and he'll get the nets once again. And speaking of that 2-1 loss, thank you for your great feedback on my little behind-the-scenes vlog on Marie Huey and the way she sang the anthems and the way she prepared and executed and performed the anthems, and even some post-anthem footage as well. Had a lot of fun making that vlog, very quick little 6-minute vlog. So, I just want to prove that I actually can edit a video once in a while. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. I think you'll really enjoy it, especially if you enjoy music. If you enjoy Marie's music, Marie singing the anthems, and just some of the sights and sounds of a Canucks game from a different perspective, including being in the tunnel when the Canucks, took the ice right before face-off, which is kind of cool. So make sure you check that video. That was just my video from yesterday. Okay, 2 other things I want to talk about really quickly. Seattle gets their franchise. No surprise to anyone. They will come in 2021, 2022. So still 3 years away. Obviously, geographically, going to be a geographic rival for the Vancouver Canucks. A quick 2.5 hour jaunt, 2 hours if you have Nexus, or 3.5 hours. There's a lot of traffic. Whatever. A quick jaunt down the I-5 to see some Seattle games. Maybe some Seattle people coming up to see some Vancouver games. Whatever it may be. That's exciting. It makes the team 32. Makes the league 32 teams. Finally, 4 equal divisions of 8. Seattle comes in the Pacific. Arizona bounces over to the Central. Still got to name their team. Still got to do the expansion draft. We got 3 years to figure out, who the Canucks are going to protect. Let's not worry about that today. But the interesting thing is, knowing that they are ultimately going to become our rival. Weird shadows here happening. Knowing that they are going to become our rival, I did put a quick poll up on Twitter, as I usually do, saying who right now is the current Canucks rival. Gave 4 choices: Boston, Calgary, Chicago, and Toronto. Those are the 4 teams I can think of, and almost 150, 175 votes, and 50% of you are saying the Calgary Flames right now, followed by Boston, and then Chicago and Toronto well behind, but half of you are saying Calgary. It makes sense. They are geographically our closest rival, them in Edmonton, but right now they are geographically our closest rival. They're the last team we played in the playoffs back in 2015. I know a long time ago, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, back in 2015, Willie Desjardins' first year behind the bench. We know that 2014, it was that memorable scrap, that bench clearing brawl that had John Tortorella storm the locker room to get at Bob Hartley. So we know that there's a lot of bad blood, and there's playoff history there as well. So not so much in recent years. The Flames Canucks games are more now comparing Kachuk versus Juolevi. Like, that's kind of like what the rivalry has come to. But I'd still say it's a bigger rivalry than the Boston rivalry, which kind of ended with the Stanley Cup playoff run. And then there's the Chicago rivalry that also ended with all of our playoff runs. And then Toronto I just threw in there because I needed a 4th team, and there's always Matthews versus Besser, Martiner versus Pettersson. There's all those things, East Coast, West Coast, whatever. All those things always on Twitter that are always fun. So look for Seattle to take over Calgary as our rival. But if you had to pick one, certainly pick Calgary. And you might remember when I did my favorite teams list, favorite Canadians teams list from a few weeks ago that got a lot of play on Twitter. I put Calgary right at the bottom because they've always been my least favorite of all the Canadian teams. Lastly, Canucks prospect goaltender Michael DiPietro. He was traded today in a blockbuster deal in the OHL. He's traded from his team of the Windsor Spitfires, traded to the Ottawa 67s, who I think were battling the London Knights for DiPietro services. And what a haul! It's DiPietro and a second rounder and a third rounder for a current roster player, a prospect actually in the U.S. Development League, and then 5 second rounders and 3 third rounders. So basically 3 players going one way, including DiPietro, 9 players going the other way, including 5 second round draft picks in subsequent years. And there's a conditional, I think of something like if one of those players, maybe the U.S. national team player, development player, if he actually makes the OHL roster sometime this season, then the Spitfires get to walk back 1 second round and 1 third round pick. But it'll still be seven players in that DiPietro trade going the other way. So obviously the Ottawa 67s are going all in to win the Memorial Cup this season. And DiPietro, it's exciting. You know, they're not going to get him for a few weeks because DiPietro will likely be the starting goaltender for Team Canada at the World Juniors here in Vancouver and Victoria at the end of this month of December. So a big trade. I'm kind of lost in the news today of the Seattle, Seattle announcement, expansion announcement, and of course locally getting excited for the debut of Josh Leivo and the return of Jay Beagle. All right, Canucks fans, there's a lot there to digest. There's the Canucks lineup tonight, including who you think is going to come out. Are you fine with Goudobin sitting? Are you fine with Sam Gagner leaving if that's the case? There's the Seattle expansion announcement, and then there's Michael DiPietro trade. Whatever you want to talk about, leave a comment below. I'll have some time this afternoon, hopefully, to read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you'd like to. I'm going to go tend to my fat lip now, and I'm going to be at the game tonight with my lovely wife, Gail. Vancouver Canucks, Minnesota Wild, Rogers Arena. Can't wait. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the day. God bless, and go Canucks go.